If your firm is generating more revenue than ever, but somehow less actually lands in your bank account, you've got an invisible leak that's costing you a lot. And today's guest found a leak in her own firm worth $800,000.
Welcome to the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast, the show where law firm owners learn to build wealth, scale their firms, and design the life of freedom they deserve. Hosted by Darren Wars, business and wealth advisor for law firm owners and author of The Lawyer Millionaire, this podcast delivers the strategies and inspiration you need to break free from the grind and become the financial success you envision. Let's dive in.
All right, we're very excited to welcome to the show Elise Buie. Elise, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Darren. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a real treat to have you here. I'm glad we were able to finally make it happen. And, we were talking about some really interesting concepts about profitability and revenue. And I want to ask you this question to kick it off here. We often make the mistake of thinking that working harder means we're going to be making more. That doesn't always happen. Why is it that working harder and making more don't always correlate nicely?
Wow, that's a pretty big question. One reason I think working harder doesn't always correlate with making more is there's only so many hours in the day. I mean, you are blocked by time, and the reality is if you can learn to leverage, to delegate, to actually get other people involved in your work, in your workflows, and what you're doing, you are going to be much more profitable because you're literally just exponentially increasing the pool by, how many hours and what can be involved. And for me, at least, I mean, me working harder, it's my same brain just working harder. What I really need is more brains, bigger brains, quicker brains, better brains. Do you know what I mean? With more perspective. And so, I don't know, wearing out my brain definitely is not always the best answer at all. Usually it's probably the worst answer.
Yeah. You got to have that team around you. We really talked a lot about that last year when we read Buy Back Your Time. You really do only have so many hours. I think we kind of grow up in hustle culture. And so we think we can just work harder and things will grow. And on a profitability level, profit and revenue don't always correlate. As you and I discussed, you can make more in revenue and actually make less in terms of actual take home.
100%.
Have you ever experienced that or seen that happen with some of the firm owners you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to me, that's like your first big leaky bucket is figuring that out because it happens, I think, in almost every firm. I mean, I have not seen, let me put this right. In my experience as a consultant working with firms all over the country, I have yet to see a billable model firm that does not have that as their leaky bucket, where they are not actually losing revenue in certain areas, but they're not even aware that they're losing it. And so it becomes this very difficult thing because they feel like they're making more revenue and they keep every year they're like, well, I hired more people. I had more capacity. I should have had more revenue. I should have had more profitability. But because they have this leaky bucket, and usually the leaky bucket is the differential between what a person says they're going to bill versus what gets on an invoice versus what gets collected. And those are, three different things. And I mean, the first part is, does your team know how to get what is necessary on an invoice? I mean, we actually have renamed it. We call it billed on invoice. We look at a billable hour as somebody's hour at their normal rate that is getting put on an invoice. It's not getting discounted. It's not getting written off. It's the full hour at their normal rate, put on an invoice. And that is what our team is held to, that number.
Hmm.
Then the other piece is what is being collected from that, I mean, because once we get it all on the invoice, then it's a matter of, is it being collected? And in my little,
Right.
that is a me problem. That is a back office, what are our policies? What are our procedures to get money collected? So I don't hold collections to my billing team at all. But I mean, that is a back office thing. And I mean, you read a lot. I mean, I read a lot and I see firms' finances all the time. And people are collecting like, 80 to 85%. And they're thinking, oh, well, look at me, I'm doing great. And I'm like, no, like 85%, that is a big old leaky bucket, depending
Yeah.
on your numbers. I mean, we collect more in the, 99-ish% plus. Like, I mean, I'm like, when I don't collect anything, I'm like, well, what happened? Where did our policy go wrong? What
Yeah.
process failed? Now, obviously, I can choose to do like pro bono work and things, but that I'm going to choose voluntarily. Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? I'm not going to be forced into pro bono work because we have policies or procedures that we're not following.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Those are some great ways to look at it. I like your metric of BOI, build on invoice. How much are we actually putting on the invoice to the client, versus how much we think we're actually billing. There's a huge disconnect often between, the
Huge.
work being done and what we're actually getting into the firm. A lot of firms really do struggle with the accounts receivable, and sometimes it runs in the several hundred thousands of dollars.
100.
Right there. I was talking with a firm a couple of months ago that had several $100,000 of accounts receivable, and lo and behold, they're a couple $100,000 in debt. Well, here's the problem: you're financing the work.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you think about it, even at $1 million, run rate in a firm, if you're not collecting 15%, I mean, that's 150 grand right there. And you add that up over a few years of operations. And I mean, I used to have AR in the 300-ish thousand dollar range. And I was like, oh no, no, no. Like it became this whole thing. And I mean, I really had to start changing my mindset too, though, because
Mm,
a part of me is like, oh, well, that's okay. This person, maybe they couldn't afford this, or maybe they couldn't afford that. And the excuses just are endless. Around
yeah.
what. And so I really started thinking about it as I am literally taking money from my children's table, like from feeding my own family to do
Yeah.
this. Now, 100%, if I want to do that, I should 100% do that. Like if I want to decide I'm doing pro bono work and I'm doing that, but I am not doing it because I have a bad system in place. Like to me,
Hmm.
that is very different. And so once we learned that we had this leaky bucket, and I estimated it to be around $1,000 between the billing mismatch and then the collection piece. And by the time we went through this whole year of like coming up with the vocabulary, messaging it out, coming up with KPIs, bonusing on 100% BOI, like doing the whole thing. It was an $800,000 a year leaky bucket.
Wow,
Like,
that's incredible.
come on, that is massive.
Yeah, that's several staff members.
I mean, come on, that is serious bonuses for the team. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's yes. So, I mean, getting rid of that leaky bucket and then building in the culture around where everyone understands what their target is and they understand that. I mean, in our firm, we do things a little differently. We are very weird. We have a choose your own adventure model, so people are telling me what they want to bill in a year. I don't tell them.
Hmm.
I don't know what their life is. I don't know what they can handle. So they
Yeah.
tell me what they want to bill. So then I tell them what I'm going to pay them. So in my mind, by doing that, I can hold people to this 100% BOI so peacefully because I didn't choose it. They did. You know,
Hmm.
I had nothing to do with the choice of the hours they made. I mean, it is, I mean, I've got people who are billing, 1,000 hours a year, and I have people who bill, 1,450 hours a year. Like, that all
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a huge part of profitability. And what I find so fascinating about all of this is that this is not about more revenue. You can, at the same level of revenue, identifying the leaky buckets, motivating the team, all of those things can translate to much greater profitability at the exact same level of revenue.
Well, completely. And I mean, I think when you think of other leaky buckets, I mean, again, for us, and I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm the queen of all the mistakes and all the leaky buckets, but it like marketing, marketing is one of those
Mm.
buckets. And literally, I will hear people and they're like, oh, we need more lead volume. So we're going to up our ad. And I'm like, well, what is your lead volume? Like, let's look at your funnel. Let's look at the whole bit of your funnel, like all stages of it. And I'm like, you don't have a lead problem. You've got a big leak in your bucket, right here, maybe at the book to had, or maybe you've got a leak at the conversion level. And I'm like, throwing more money in this leaky bucket is actually the worst thing you can do. What you
Hmm.
need to do is dig into these specific areas and actually squeeze as much juice out of the leads you do have, and
Yeah.
raise your conversion rates, raise your other parts of your funnel, build trust higher up in your funnel so you're converting better. There's just, but I mean, it is and marketing agencies just love to get
Oh yeah.
companies thinking,
Yeah.
oh, you've got to have more leads. You got to put more money on ads. I mean, my poor marketing agency no doubt hates me because I'll be like, yeah, don't even suggest that until you tell me like we have optimized every bit of our funnel. And I mean, like, don't give me some average number. Like, this is what an average firm does. I'm like, well, great. We're not going to be average. So we're going to have higher conversion rates and higher. I'm just not going to throw all this money to a funnel that's got holes all along. It looks like a piece of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, yeah. Marketing is a huge area, and I think one of the mistakes that as business owners we often make is we run to tactics first. Like we want to do something. What is the thing I need to do? Or we want to spend more money on something. Like, oh, I need to raise revenue. Well, what do I need to do? But I think we need to like first take a step back and diagnose the real problem. What's the strategic problem? Let's talk about strategy first before we go to tactics, and that's a theme that we'll be getting into later in the year with our final book of the year, "The Road Less Stupid" by Keith Cunningham, which is really fascinating. But do you ever experience that or see that where we're just wanting to do things? We got to step back and really think about it first.
1,000%. Like, this is, I think, the biggest thing is, and I mean, this is why I started consulting this exact issue, because people did not have the data to be able to step back and
Mm.
analyze the problem. So they are looking at all these kind of big fuzzy things like, oh, marketing's not working. Oh, my legal team isn't staying busy enough. Oh, enough money isn't coming into my bank. Well, let me, do something to increase revenue. And it's like, you don't even know where in your system is the cause of all this. Like, all these things are potential leaky buckets, and
Yeah.
but being able to have the data to go into your firm and analyze what is actually causing the problem. And I mean, we call it numbers plus narrative, because I know I can't just look at numbers. I've got to understand the human aspect of things too. Like, maybe you have a legal team and you've had like 3 deaths across your legal team, like with family members or whatever, like they're kind of struggling. So understanding that and figuring out, okay, how can we shift? How can we delegate work off those people to somebody else? What do we do with our capacity over here? So maybe we're not flowing new things right now. We're just building on what we already have. There's so much to analyze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think by looking at data with a numbers plus narrative mindset and having your strategic hat on, it allows you to solve for the right problems. Because
Hmm.
I mean, I work with people and I mean, talking to them and I'll find out their average case value is, $7,000 and I'm like, hmm, okay. Like, that's something we can look at. Like how do we improve an average case
Yeah.
value where maybe what work are you not doing that you could and should be doing? Like where are you making those choices? How does that go back to your marketing, your ideal client? Who are you bringing in and why are you bringing in who you're bringing in?
Yeah.
And then looking at, well, let's look at average case value, but now let's look at lifetime value of this client. Like what other services can be brought in? Where can you add value to that client where they then become a referral source too? Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where then they're feeding back into the marketing thing.
Yeah.
And there's so much to I think the data analytics and the strategy of this. That's what actually makes me kind of get inspired and interested is all the thinking, like,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Yeah.
usually if I find myself down in the weeds doing or like throwing out tactical things, I'm like, oh gosh, I should not be doing this. Like we need a different brain on this than mine for sure.
Yeah. The former math and science nerd in me loves this because there is a math and a science to it.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
and yeah, and I want to ask you about labor productivity a little bit because as you grow, as you kind of get past that seven-figure mark and move beyond, your team really becomes everything, and maximizing the productivity of your team is a huge, probably one of your biggest profit movers. So you
Absolutely.
mentioned a little bit about how you incentivize the team with bonuses and KPIs, and you could tell us a little bit about that. But also, I find that a lot of it is kind of the softer things too. I mean, money can only do so much for people. Not everyone is necessarily motivated around that. How do you motivate your team to be more productive and more profitable?
Well, like I said, we are weird, very weird. So we have our 100% BOI. That is an eligibility requirement to get a bonus in our firm. Like you are not getting
Hmm.
a bonus if you're a biller if you don't hit 100% of the hours you told me you were going to hit. Like that's just the base level. So then when we're looking at KPIs, we look at behavior. We look at things like delegation percentages because our one of our big goals is to teach everybody how to delegate any work that they shouldn't be doing. Like if you're a
Mm.
lawyer, you should not be doing work that does not require your law degree. Like I only want lawyers touching work that actually requires their license. If it doesn't,
Yeah.
I want it to go down to somebody else. That both benefits that other team member, but it also benefits our clients that, the
Hmm.
right person is billing for the work that's being done, and so we incentivize delegation, we incentivize unreasonable hospitality, which again, that's us being a little weird, but we want our team members to be looking for opportunities to provide that type of client service that just really is unreasonably hospitable, both to our clients and their families, but then also to each other. And so we have an unreasonable hospitality budget that everyone in the firm has, and they can, utilize it to do things if their act of unreasonable hospitality happens to cost money. Obviously, there's so many things you can do that are not, they don't cost anything, but
Mm.
but they do have a budget. And then another thing we have KPIs around is feedback. We try to be a very flat organization. Like I consider myself kind of at the middle of a bicycle spoke where we really do not have a hierarchical office, and we really encourage that by incentivizing feedback where we expect people to give feedback and we expect people to ask for feedback. And so, in their work, so we're constantly getting a free flow of ideas and, and
Hmm.
like open communication, because that's something I think is really important, is that we can talk to each other. And if there's a problem, we can, talk about it. And so those
Yeah.
are things that really help. But the key to all of that is, like, when we think of delegation in particular, our hourly employees, so paralegals, the whole admin side of the house, they operate under what's called a 30 is the new 40 model, where we have encouraged them. Like, everyone used to be at 40 hours and they had their KPIs. Then we did
Hmm.
a beta program for about 6 months. We took some employees that are very high performing and we put them on the beta program, and we got them down to where they were working at 30 hours and still hitting their 40-hour KPIs. They were delegating more. They were figuring out like how to make their workflows more efficient. So then it's been now rolled out to the whole firm now for a while. Um, and now everybody does that. So the goal is that people are working just 30 hours a week. They're earning for 40 and they're hitting their KPIs like they were working 40 hours. And so
Yeah.
to me, it's a win-win-win for everybody. And, being able to, you talk about motivating your team, giving your team 10 hours back on their week is highly motivational.
Yeah, yeah. 40 hours is a lot. It's actually a lot of hours to work in a week. I mean, it's hard to get eight solid, hours of work in a day. That's hard.
Well, I mean, I really think the 40-hour work week was created in a time that doesn't exist anymore. Like,
Yeah.
it was created back in the Henry Ford, like auto,
Hmm.
like let's build cars in factories with wives at
Right.
home doing all the things. And, we weren't running kids around to 18 different, activity. Like, it's a whole different world. And
Hmm.
I mean, 40 hours is a lot, and especially for women who are
Mm.
often the default parent in their family, as far as
Yeah.
doing a lot of the day to day, showing up in school meetings and doctors and extracurriculars. And so, personally, as a mom of many, like 40 hours was really, really tough. And I know
Hmm.
how much I delegated personally to so many different things. And so I've really tried to bring that into my firm. One, to teach it for other people, that you don't have to do it all yourself. Like, it doesn't make you a great mom just because you dropped the cupcakes at the school. Like, somebody else can drop the cupcakes at the auction or at the class, birthday party or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's just, so delegation and teaching delegation is a huge part of what we do.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because we actually had everybody in our on our team read Buy Back Your Time. And then they started giving me ideas like, we need to hire somebody to do this, and I really shouldn't be doing these tasks. And it was incredible.
Oh, it makes a huge difference. I mean, we actually have a delegation service that, I mean, I've been using for 11 years myself personally, and I brought
Hmm.
it into the firm about 10 years ago. And it is a company that does, I mean, it used to be, it was called Pursuit Concierge. It was like for executives, just like delegation. And then it's kind of spun off. But, I mean, her name is Caitlin who does it now, and it's called Free Your Mind. And she can just do anything. I mean, she has done things for people on our team like research daycares, gets cars fixed, gets doctor visits scheduled, will get, purses fixed, clothes fixed. Um, I just had her ship one of my cars across the country to one of my kids. Like, she just literally, she does anything. She does all of Doug and I's travel, dinner reservations, theater, she does anything. Like, I'll literally be like, we're going to Iceland for a week. These are the dates. And I mean, a week later, I have an itinerary, everything's purchased, everything's done. She's made activity reservation, like, I've done nothing. I've literally, that is how I plan a trip. I'm like, I would like to go to Iceland. I mean, we're going to Japan in June. I was like, okay, we're going to Japan this date to this date. We need to be on this island from this date to this date.
Nice. Yeah. Because all of that does take time. It might not seem like that's like, why should I have be spending money to do this? But, that all takes a lot of time for you as the business owner. And if you could be spending that time doing more productive things,
I
that'd be way better.
I can surely earn more per hour than me researching every possible hotel on Okinawa. And you know what I mean? Like it is,
Yeah.
there's not even slightly a trade off. I get asked all the time, I mean, practically daily, Elise, how do you get so much done in a day? And I'm like, because I delegate like a mother. I mean, I am a wild delegator.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
wild. Like, not only I have Caitlin at Free Your Mind, I think we have 12 VAs. And I mean, there's probably 4 of them that I regularly delegate to on a 24-hour cycle. Like
Hmm.
it is the key to leverage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the biggest pushbacks I get is every law firm owner who doesn't have an executive assistant, I tell them, you need to get an executive assistant now.
Like
And they're like,
yesterday.
well, I don't know what they would really do. I'm like, you're not thinking big enough. Let's think bigger. Anything, literally anything you do that is less than your hourly rate, they could do. And that's not legal.
Well, I mean, I have a list that I think I got from Joey Vitale, and it's a really good list of 100 things an assistant can do.
Nice.
And it is, I'm happy to share it with anybody who reaches out to me because it is really helpful just to get you started. I mean,
Yeah.
like when I work with clients, consulting clients, I tell them to do a 2-week. Literally, I want to know minute by minute what they're doing. And I can look at that 2-week thing and I can keep an assistant, a full-time assistant busy off of looking at what they're doing in 2 weeks. It almost
Absolutely.
never fails. Like
Yep.
give me their 2-week, little accounting. And I'm like, okay, here's 40 hours of assistant work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good reminder, even to me. I'm sitting here thinking like, I have an executive assistant, but I could be utilizing her even more.
Well, I mean,
It's
and you could
always a great reminder.
probably use a second one. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I have found is having somebody around the 24 hours has been so helpful because like I said, I do tend to wake up really early. So, I mean, for me to have an assistant that is available when I get up at 3 or 4 in the morning, wildly helpful because I can like get going and do things and there's somebody there. And I mean, I have these people on like these 8-hour shifts around the day and
Nice.
I mean, I don't think I could function. I mean, there's so much they do. And talking about the data we talked about, they
Yeah.
pull and do and look and analyze so much of that data, and I call the trust but verify. Like when I'm trying to look into something, I can give them like criteria of, go look here. This is what I'm looking for, and flag these things if you don't see them. I mean, then I don't have to go in and do any of that. Like I get
Yeah.
reports on all the things.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Well, Lisa, unfortunately, we're coming to the end of our time here. It's been such a great discussion. Thank you for sharing all of those wonderful ideas. One last question for you. I think I already know the book you're going to choose, but what is one book that you're reading right now and very excited about, or something you've read that really changed your perspective on business?
Whoa. Okay, you don't want to ask me what I'm reading right now because I'm reading like 8 different books right now. I am like, I definitely am an ADHD girl, never diagnosed, but no doubt it's there. I would say that, I mean, for me, there were probably 2 books that actually truly fundamentally changed how I did things. I mean, gosh, there's more than that, but one is interestingly Mike Morse's book of Fireproof. Um, Actually, seeing the traction, but in an actual law firm, seeing it work. Fireproof is like the dumbed down version of Traction, and it's literally, you can sit
Okay.
down and read it almost in a night. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
and understanding how Mike and his COO, John, really got that whole firm moving in the same direction, rowing in the same way, and utilizing data and scoreboards. And that was just really pivotal for me, like to understand how to take a remote operation that was growing so fast and keep us moving in the same direction. And another one that I'd say was just really, really impactful was Profit First, was
Hmm.
understanding how my way of looking at things, like, just doing everything and then paying myself last, was
Hmm.
not the way to build a financially healthy firm. Like
Yeah.
forcing constraints and forcing financial constraints is the best CEO owner move, is
Yeah.
like being like, my business is going to pay me X dollars every year. And I mean, I have automatic weekly savings that get pulled out. I mean, I don't see it. I don't operate
Yeah.
it, but I mean, it is a weekly pull, and that is a forced constraint on our finances. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. That's incredible. And of course we read that book this year. I really loved that book when I read it too. Similarly, I think it really changed my own perspective. We'll put both of those in the show notes for everyone. Elise, great to chat with you. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our audience with, or tell them where they can learn more about you?
Well, they can always just like email me, and I'm sure you could put my email and stuff in the show notes, or, on LinkedIn or whatever social media. I personally probably spend more time personally on LinkedIn than other social media, but yeah, anybody's welcome to email me. And I'm always happy to talk to law firm owners, because helping law firm owners be less stressed and actually be able to enjoy their practices and build the lives that they're trying to build really means something to me, because you see so many owners that are just miserably overworked and underpaid.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately. Well, Elise, thanks again for joining us today. It's been great chatting with you.
You too. And thanks so much for having me. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, a huge thank you to Elise Buie for joining us today. You can connect with Elise on LinkedIn or reach her directly by email. And as always, all the links are waiting for you in the show notes. The math and science nerd in me lives for this kind of diagnostic thinking. So many law firm owners run straight to tactics. I need more leads. I need to work harder. I need to raise rates, things like that. If you do that, you run the real risk of making more revenue, but taking home less profit. And that just means working harder for the same or less. Yuck! The real money is hiding inside the firm you already have. And here at The Lawyer Millionaire, this is exactly the work that we do with our clients, helping you diagnose the leaks, build the systems, and turn your firm into a true wealth-building engine instead of a treadmill. Because the truth is, you don't need to bill more hours to make more money. You need to keep more of what your firm is already producing. When the back office is tight and the team is aligned, profit follows almost automatically. And if you want to be in the room with other law firm owners like Elise who are serious about plugging leaks and building real wealth, the Lawyer Millionaire community is where that conversation is happening. Come join us at community.lawyermillionaire.com. And if you ever want to talk with me directly, my scheduling link is in the show notes as well. Well, that's it for today, friend. And remember this, if your firm isn't building you wealth and freedom, what the hell are you doing? Can I get an amen? Now, go make it happen. And I'll see you next time.
Are you a law firm owner looking to build real wealth and break free from the daily grind? On the Lawyer Millionaire podcast, we share practical strategies to grow your practice, maximize profits, and create the financial freedom you deserve. Join host Darren Wars as he interviews top experts and successful law firm leaders who share their secrets. Don't just practice law, build a legacy. Listen now to The Lawyer Millionaire wherever you get your podcast. The Lawyer Millionaire podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as legal, tax, or investment advice. Listeners should consult with a qualified professional before making any financial or business decisions. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Darren Wars or Lawyer Millionaire Wealth Advisors.